Welcome back to the fish room. Today I want to move some of the Acestridium Dichromum out of the shrimp tank, and I want to do a little bit of an experiment to see what really makes them tick and what really makes them happy and really enriches their lives. So I've been doing some research and it seems that they really like flow, but aside from that, aside from some sources saying that they like to stay on branches and that they really like flow, that's all I've got to go on at the moment. So 23 to 28 degrees centigrade for these, and now that these orange Venezuelan cories are out of quarantine, I thought this pretty fast flowing Hillstream style tank I've got down here would be pretty good for them. And what I want to do is basically create a couple of different habitats. So over by the filter, I'm just going to have a big clump of these fake plants that I've got in here. And then I'm going to create some little stacks of pebbles, some areas with some flat stones instead of rounded pebbles. And then I'm thinking of putting lots of branches in the top, but quite thin branches. I've got some of that beech left over that I used for the cichlid tank. So I'm going to pop some of that in here as well. So this is a species that's originally from Venezuela, so they'll actually go quite nicely with the Venezuelan orange cories, which are a variant of bronze cories. So I've got quite a few of them in here, and there's some leftover bristlenoses in here as well. So Acestridium Dichromum. Acestridium, as far as I know, means like hookfish, so that sort of makes sense, I guess. And then Dichromum, which refers to their colour changing, because they can switch between like a really bright acid green, or they can change to like a dark brown, and I've also seen some of them go almost like a grey blue colour when they're on that sort of colour rocks. So Dichromum, so chromatic, if you think of it like that. So Dichromum, 2 colours, but I mean I've seen more than 2 colours out of them. So the Latin name just sort of refers to, they're basically a weird looking fish that changes colour. And you can certainly agree that they're definitely a fish that does not really look that much like a fish. So I need to pick up some of the suction cups and things that are fallen in here. I'm always finding strange things in my fish tanks. Suction cups are probably not the strangest things. Normally I find cutlery where I've been putting in skewers of vegetables and things for everybody. I'm always finding forks and skewers in the backs of tanks that have been long buried in there, and I've completely forgotten they've been in there. It's a good job they're stainless steel. So I'm just going to create a little stack of pebbles here, and I probably should have rinsed these a little bit better. You can just see all the muck coming off them. And all of the cories have gone and hidden up the other end. I've just got that one female Koikahaku guppy that I couldn't catch. She's supposed to be in another tank, and then there's a bunch of babies in here as well now. So I'll probably have to catch them out at some point. They look like they're having great fun in the flow though. Alrighty then, so this is what I've come up with so far. So we've got the sort of bushy area over here by the filter, and then we've got areas of flat stones and areas where I've just stacked the pebbles up. So it's going to be interesting once I pop them in, which areas they are going to go for. I totally forgot about the sticks. So I've put the sticks in now as well, which it'll be interesting whether they face the flow or whether they try and tuck in away from the flow. From their design, looking at them, they're very streamlined, so I would assume that they can deal with fast water, and they're probably stronger swimmers than they actually appear to be. But I mean, I haven't actually really seen them swim much. They mostly just sort of sit there. So it seems like the cories are enjoying the pebbles. Corridors normally like little shallow hiding places like this where they can hide out. They like going underneath logs and little stacks of pebbles and things, so it's not really surprising that they're under there. They're just nosying about, seeing if there's anything to eat on those pebbles. Right, so I've got them. I've only put half of them in here. I have left the other half in the shrimp tank just for now, just because I wanted to see how they responded to the move. And I have been taking it easy on these because they are quite a delicate little fish. But look, you can already see these guys are blending in with their environment. This one doesn't know what colour to turn because it's on the reflective bottom here. But certainly the ones on the stone and the ones up on the branches have changed colour. That big one on the back seems to like staying green. And I have observed so far it seems to be the biggest ones that like to stay bright green. I don't know whether that's like a dominance thing. So the orange Venezuelan crows are having loads of fun, enjoying their slightly more immersive scape that we've got for them here. I'll probably put some food in for them because they're looking for food here. This isn't breeding activity, they're too young. This is them looking for food. And kind of playing in the flow as well. They're having a great time. So I'm not really expecting any behaviour off them immediately that's going to tell me what they prefer. In fact, at the moment it's pretty much evenly distributed between the branches, the flat rocks and the rounded rocks. But it is good to see that they are pretty interested in the food, to be honest. They don't seem that bothered by the move. I suppose the water parameters are pretty close, to be fair. pH might be like 2 degrees, 0.2 degrees out. But yeah, they seem to be a lot better suited to the fast water than they would appear. When they actually stick their little tails out, they remind me of, I'd have to look it up what they are, but there's a really, really tiny little, comment below if you know what it is. They're almost like a tiny little, they're a free swimming fish, but they look very similar with the funny little triangular tails, with the pointy noses, but they're not a whiptail. Oh, I can't remember what they are. This is a pretty happy tank now, and what we'll do is we'll check back probably in the morning. I've got some other bits to get on with here, so we'll check back in the morning, and that will probably give us a good indication of where they've settled overnight. Because at the moment they're all facing sort of different directions, and yeah, we've got some on the flat over here with the cories. It's good to see the cories aren't bothering them too much as well. I do not see this fish very much at all, but you can just see his tail. That is my black lancer catfish in there. It's good to see that he's doing alright. I do not see him very often, so yeah, he's hanging out in one of these tunnels in here. Quite a cute shot of the L200s there. There are algae wafers in here, but they always seem to go for the Tetra Flakes instead. But they're supposed to go for the algae wafers and stuff. So next up I need to sort this Discus tank out. I put an L027 Xingu Panaque in here. And it is making the most horrific mess in this tank. It's too much for this tank, even though she's probably only about 6-7 inches. So there's just loads of wood pulp everywhere because they're a wood-eating species. So I just need to get her out. So I haven't actually seen her since I put her in. I know she's in here because the pile of wood mulm coming out the other end of her is growing. I'll just check behind this branch first, but I have a feeling she's going to be in that stack, and I really hope I'm not going to have to pull this tank all the way apart to find her. Oh god, look at all this wood pulp coming off everything. So this sort of black water environment is lovely for Discus. This is lovely for them. This is very natural, even though they're Stenker Discus, and they are. Well, this isn't an RO tank; it's 50-50. There's also African butterfly fish in here, a couple of different types of whiptail, and my Ember Tetra Army. That's African butterfly cichlids, not African butterfly fish as in the floaty ones. But Discus do like quite a low TDS, which is total dissolved solids. So even though they're Stenker Discus and they're used to harder water, they are still a soft water fish, as are most of the inhabitants of this aquarium. and all of this extra organic matter that's just in the water is no good for them. There she is, our culprit. So it's an L027 Xingu Panaque. I think it's a female. Males normally are quite spiky. And what I did is I've just popped her in the 5 foot because this tank is much better suited to handle her. These can eventually get about 40 centimeters long, but they grow very, very slowly. And she's going to enjoy all of the leaves and sticks and wood in here. So this will be much better for her. So I've just checked back in the Acestridium tank, which is quite cloudy because of the feeding activity, but it looks like they're starting to migrate up onto the sticks, which is quite interesting. Set that one. There's one on the end there, and that big one on the back wall still. But no, they seem to be going up on the sticks now. So I've just finished the water change on this tank, and it's looking, well, in person it looks much cleaner. The water's still a bit kicked up, so what I've done is I've just stuffed the second filter with loads and loads of floss and fine sponge and angled it towards the sand. And now I'm going to do some magic, and we're going to come back the next day. And here it is. So I did have to just change the angle of the extra filter because I've blasted a great big circle in the sand overnight, but the water's looking much clearer. I have just started kicking a little bit of stuff off the end there, which is good. I might just need more flow in here to really suck up the last bits of the wood pulp and get the total dissolved solids lower. But all of our whiptail friends seem to be looking pretty happy, and our ember tetra friends. Yeah, all in all, much clearer and much better for everybody in this tank today. And carrying on with our little experiment, this morning all of the Acestridiums except 1 or 2 are actually up on the sticks, and interestingly they're all facing the flow. So we'll keep checking back with them, but my conclusion so far is that they are a fish that hangs out on sticks and sort of vertical environments. There is one down here, which doesn't seem to be too bothered by the cories, which is good. I was a little bit concerned that they'd be a little bit bolshy for this lot. But no, the next challenge is going to be feeding them, and because they're facing the flow, that also tells me that they like the flow. And they don't seem to be struggling to get around. Oh my god, there's one there as well. Can you see it? Camouflage is crazy on these. So yeah, we'll keep checking back with these. I'll do a little experiment and see what they like to eat next. And yeah, big shout out to everyone who's subscribed so far. Leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.